More than 2 hours after a successful Juneteenth celebration on 18th and Vine on Friday, one person was killed and five others were injured in a shooting. The frustrating part for many Kansas Cityans is that we've been having this same conversation for years with 18th and Vine. When violence became a recurring problem in Westport, we saw increased presence, controlled access points, and significant security investments. Many people are asking why 18th and Vine, one of Kansas City's most important cultural and historic districts, hasn't received that same level of protection. Straight up, what is the city's plan to make sure that people can enjoy 18th and Vine without worrying about becoming the next victim of violence?
I think early indications are that you had two rival parties engage in a shootout, and then too many people had guns, and that was kind of what incurred from there. I think that, I got a few different critiques. The first of which is going to be first on the assailants themselves. They know what they're doing, they keep acting a fool, they make it so we have nowhere that we can hang out or connect in this city. Whether it's 76th and Truce, 18th and Vine, parts of downtown, you see it again and again. And so the blame, first of all, goes on the assailants that continue to be a part of it. I do think you see a difference. Now, the difference in Westport is that you have business owners themselves, same story with the plaza, that have invested mightily in off duty KCPD and district security personnel. I think you need to see more of it. I do wonder if you had a police car, maybe even with lights on, at the corner of 18th and Vine, at the corner of 19th and Vine, does that start to make a difference? That's something we're going to look into to see if you even need more presence with it. But there are going to be a few steps. One, we need people to stop acting a fool. You can't bring your guns, get in a shootout, try to resolve things in the way you do. Second, we do need to make sure that there is always that visible presence. So at least you may not stop the shooting, but there's accountability, there are consequences. Right now, these people are acting with impunity and don't feel like there are. And then finally, I think what we need to do is continue our investment. But to those who say this is because y'all don't invest anything, that's anything but the case. $20 million at the garage down the street, $8 million on the street itself at 18th and Vine, $3 million into the American Jazz Museum. I think another $1 million plus into the Boom Theater. We continue to put real money there. We need to make sure that all of our neighbors, all of our cousins appreciate it.
But Mayor Lucas, specifically, I want to the Westport access points. I think that deters a lot of things from coming into that area. Like what is stopping that from happening? That same security point happening at 18th and Vine.
Westport's security point came from the demands of local business owners. So I'm happy to talk to Juke House, talk to Smacks, talk to everybody who's there in the area. And if they're inclined to start that sort of thing, I don't mind it. Y'all know I'm ready to shut down some streets, right? I'm trying to shut down parts of the plaza, making sure that people can actually walk through safely. So whether it's 1 a.m. in the morning or in the middle of the afternoon, so my kids and I can walk around safely, that's something I would love to explore. I want the business owners to be part of it with us.
During my conversation with Mayor Lucas talking about 18th and Vine, I just I keep thinking about how I view the Vine and how important it is that I feel like everybody needs to act fast because the stain on the Vine is becoming, it seems, permanent with a lot of people who are not familiar with 18th and Vine and what it has to offer and its history. It's not just an entertainment district. It is sacred ground. Charlie Parker, uh, Ella Fitzgerald, all the jazz legends from the past who visited that street, who made Kansas City, in some ways their musical home. It's jazz history, it's black history, it's Kansas City history. And just based on those factors alone and the recent investments that's been made in the Vine, we got to find some way to protect it. And there just seems to be this frustrating pattern of why this same conversation repeats every single year. When the violence occurs, the community grieves, and then it goes away. There's another party there next week, and nothing changes. And so currently there's this battle between, you know, the business owners versus Mayor Lucas and City Hall, and why there isn't more security being held right there on 18th and Vine whenever there are events. So, and I asked Mayor Lucas, I specifically brought up Westport because yes, there still is occurrences of violence, even in that district, with the guardrails, the entry points, and the police presence that they have over there in Westport. When something happened, like there was immediate action, I feel like all the time to try and circumvent the issues and try and prevent, more violence from happening, including sealing off all of the entries. Like, you ever been to Westport in the spring and summertime in Kansas City? Don't go past. I would say they start setting up these barricades. I want to say at like 8, 9 o'clock in the summer and springtime, to where you can't drive through Westport. It's a total pedestrian walkway. And the police presence is there. They got security, like trying to walk into Westport during that time too. You get patted down. You got to go through the metal detectors. It's a whole screening process on getting into Westport with what they have there. Now, to my understanding, Mayor Lucas explained that those business owners, I guess, provided the money for this and they set this up. Be that as it may, that's fine. But there's nothing that we can do within the city budget to do the same thing there on 18th and Vine. Like, I understand that, okay, we're gonna like just lightweight blame the business owners on 18th and Vine, and then we're just gonna move on with no action being happened. Come on, something has to happen. That I just don't understand why cooler heads can't prevail, smarter heads can't prevail, and everybody, like, can we split the cost between the city and the business owners? Like, we can't come to some sort of agreement. And it's killing me that this fight is happening right now, because I feel like it's insidious and it's not productive for 18th and Vine. So I just feel like more action needs to be taken from whatever side. I don't know what side it is, but we cannot continue to blame one another and with no action happening, because as people continue to die and they call these occurrences mass shootings, the stain on 18th and Vine is just going to get worse, and then everybody loses. The business owners don't eat because now tourism is down and people are not coming to 18th and Vine, and now those parties can't be thrown. And then Mayor Lucas and City Hall, they lose because now everybody's looking at them like they're the bad guys, like they're not chipping in, like they're not trying to do everything they can to save the Vine. When yes, there has been investment on 18th and Vine. There has been. Has it been enough? That's questionable for everybody's perspective at this point. But we need some solutions quick, fast, in a hurry. And I just don't understand why something can be happening. Okay, so maybe it's not the magnitude of Westport where they seal off all the entries and exits. I don't understand why that can't happen. Like he said on Hustle and Shine in the morning, maybe there is just a slight police presence with parked cars or flashing lights or something. Because something as little as that will scare off some people from doing something stupid. Not everybody, but some. And it's like, I feel like sometimes they're not thinking about what the criminal actually sees, what the assailant is actually thinking about. Like, they're looking at this like, oh, 18th and Vine is wide open. It's an easy lick. We could go in there and see who we need to see, and easily get on up out of there and do what we need to do. Maybe the solution necessarily isn't flooding the entire area with police officers, because we all know the history between our community and police officers is not the best. But the solution is it has to include creating safety, visibility, accountability, all without killing the culture of 18th and Vine, of Kansas City. So there are some, and then there are some questions that some city leaders must answer too. Like, what is the long term plan for us to save this street? How much funding is actually dedicated to the district besides the special funding that recently has been allocated for 18th and Vine? Who is responsible for the implementation of said plan? And if the people don't feel safe, then everybody loses. People stop attending. If they stop attending, businesses suffer. The businesses suffer, the district declines. And then here's the thing. I care a lot about 18th and Vine and what it represents in our city. Because not every city has an 18th and Vine. Memphis doesn't have this. Atlanta doesn't have this. Dallas doesn't have this. New York, Harlem, they don't have what we have here. I feel like this is just one of the things that makes me proud to be from this city, is the fact that we have something special like 18th and Vine right here where I grew up at. And I just feel like everybody, of course, everybody isn't going to look at it the same, and everybody isn't going to appreciate 18th and Vine how I do. But if we don't wake up in our community in Kansas City and try to preserve our culture, they're going to take it away from us. And then all of a sudden, one day, it may not be an 18th and Vine for us to cherish and appreciate.